Okay, hello everyone. Let's continue.
这个佛法就有兴有衰，有人相信，就有人不相信。
This Buddha Dharma has prosperity and decline. Some people believe it and some people don't.
孙权因为亲身见着康僧会所求得的舍利，所以佛法就大兴。
Because Sun Quan himself saw the Sharara obtained by Kang Seng Hui, thus the Buddha Dharma was greatly propagated.
到一个寺院就叫建初寺，这个地方的名字呢就叫佛陀里。
He built a temple called Jianchu Temple. The name of this place was called Fotuoli, means Buddha village.
在这个时候啊，吴国这个佛法，很多人都相信。
At that time, in the kingdom of Wu, many people believed this Buddha Dharma.
所以就到现在，那个苏州啊、杭州啊、南京一带啊，有很多人相信佛法，就是这样子。
So, till nowadays, in the area of Suzhou, Hangzhou, Nanjing, many people believe in the Buddha Dharma. That's the end of the Sharara story.
Okay, any questions on shariras or anything? Comments? Okay, if not, then we continue.
可是孙权虽然相信，孙权的儿子就不相信了。他爸爸一生造他，他一做了皇帝的时候啊，
However, although Sun Quan believed it, his son Sun Hao didn't believe it. His father built stupas his whole life once Sun Hao became emperor.
就认为啊，他的父亲是一个最愚蠢的人，最笨的人，是一个脑筋呢不清楚的人。他认为他自己呀是非常聪明的人。
He thought his father was the stupidest, dumbest person. Without a clear head, he thought himself was very smart.
所以呀，他就把所有的这些个庙宇都要烧了，所有的这个没有意义的这个事情都要革除了它。
So, he wanted to burn down all the temples. Everything that was meaningless, he wanted to terminate them.
于是乎，他就问文武百官：“是谁兴的这个佛法？谁提倡这个佛教？”就
Thus, he asked the hundreds of the civil and military officials. He said, "Who propagated the Buddha Dharma? Who promoted Buddhism?"
究竟它有什么用呢？你们大家来研究研究。如果它真正有用的话，咱们可以呀，就保留它存在。
What's the use of this? You guys investigate. If it's truly useful, we can keep it.
它要没有什么意义的话，没有什么对人世间的社会上没有好处，我们就要把它取缔了它，把庙烧了它。
If it is meaningless, no benefit to mankind and society, we should eliminate it, burn down the temples.
怎么样讲啊？这文武百官说：“哦，佛呀，佛这种力量啊，是不可思议的。”
He said this. The hundreds of civil and military officials said, "Oh, Buddha's power is inconceivable."
佛的威德神通啊，这是不可以随便把他庙烧了的。于是乎
Buddha has charisma and spiritual penetration. We can't casually burn down his temples.
他就派一个最会说的这个辩士，舌辩之士，就专会讲话。你有什
Thus, he sent the most eloquent debater, the eloquent one, specialized in speaking.
威德 is awesome virtue, virtue that inspires awe, not just virtue alone, but these virtues. The Buddha's virtue is awe-inspiring.
什么理论呢？他一讲就给你批评倒了，就去见这个僧会，见这个僧会就。
No matter what principle you had, he can out-debate you. Once he started arguing, he went to see this Senghui, to see that Senghui.
用这种的种种的理论来攻击佛教，辩论了一天，和这个康僧会辩论，始终他也说不过这个康僧会。
He used various theories to attack Buddhism. After debating with Kang Senghui for a day, he still could not win.
始终他的理论也不成立，那么他没有法子了，到晚间就走了。
His theories were always not valid. Then he had no choice and left at night.
走了，在山门口一看，那儿有那个好像土地庙之类的，不太正当这种的小祠堂。
He left, and at the mountain gate, he spotted an improper small ancestral temple, like the local earth god's temple.
他说：“佛法既然是这么样子，正当，为什么还要这么一个小祠堂在这个地方？啊，这是不对的，应该把它革除它。”
He said, "Since the Buddha Dharma is so proper, why is there such a small ancestral temple in this place? This is not right. It should be demolished."
怎么在庙旁边有这么一个有这么一种的小祠堂，这个小庙不大的那个地方，那个土地庙之类的。
How could there be such a small ancestral temple beside the temple? This small temple was not big. It was there, like the local earth god's temple.
So you see, the typical person, ordinary person, would be impressed by externals. So he says he stopped by this temple, which is very unimpressive. and too unimpressive to be a place of worship. So he says, if the temple is that impressive, if Buddha or Dharma is so impressive, so awesome, then why is the temple so unimpressive? That's people's thinking, and that's what still holds true today. People are impressed by externals. If we for real, how come the temple is so unimpressive? Okay, it's unimpressive because we're poor. What else? Is there any other reason? And that's one thing, by the way. When you cultivate, it's better that you're poor. It's not supposed to be comfortable. You just have enough, and so you for example, in Buddhism, there is before the clothes. For clothing, we have three. The Buddhist monks have 3 sashes for clothing. That's it. And the sashes were made of, used to be made of discard rags. They climb into the garbage bins, pick them out, brought them back to the temple, washed them thoroughly, dyed them in a horrible color that looks like nothing, like no one would want to wear this color. And so then they piece it together by pieces like that. And that's because back then, fabric is very expensive. So the monks used to wear discard robes. The robes are discarded. So in fact, in the Buddha's time, the sashes are so expensive that actually some of the monks are so poor that there's a story where one of the monk disciples, the Buddha disciples, was a monk, and he was so poor, and he cultivated his entire life. He's very poor his entire life. And so by the time he was very old, his followers were impressed by his virtues. So they gave him a brand new sash. It's the first time in his life that this monk had a brand new sash. So he looked at the sash, he was so happy. He said, "Oh my, this is so beautiful, it's so nice. Now I can die without any regrets." So he died. He died, and so as a typical Buddhist practice, we cremate the monks' bodies after they die, and it is cremation. So as they were about to cremate this monk's body, the abbot went out and said, came out and he said, "No, stop! Don't cremate him. Okay, so wait for a few days." Yeah. And so they had to wait for a few days, and then they cremated him. And what happened? Happened is that after he died, that monk died, he became some kind of worm or insect that was inside the sash, brand new sash. He's so attached to the sash. It's like the most precious thing he ever had in his entire life. So he can't let go of that. So he loved it so much that he came right back as a worm or some kind of bug, could be a moth or something, and stayed in the sash and lived for a few days. So the monk had to wait for that insect thing to die before they could cremate him. It's not clear did he come back as another insect or not. So you see, so my point being that traditionally the monks and nuns are supposed to be poor. They're not to be have a lot of everything. The clothing we have is 3 sashes, and later people became weak. They didn't have any samadhi power, So the Buddha allowed more clothing. Okay, so the rules of more clothing. In fact, what we're allowed to have is 101 things. I learned that in Vinaya school in Taiwan. Okay, the Chinese says 101 things, meaning that you can only have one thing. That's all. Okay, beside the 3 sashes, you have one robe. Okay, one towel. You cannot have 2. So it's heavily regulated for that reason, because it's a reminder we're supposed to make do, not live with excess and comfort. Okay? So there's a reason why our late teacher, Chinese teacher, came over here and never built any fancy temples, you know? Because it's enough for his people, his students to cultivate, and they became enlightened. And now their temples are so nice, so much bigger. They're building even 50 million, 100 million new temple at the city, a new Buddha hall, back, and that's it's. Not good for cultivation. Let me put it that way. Okay? Too comfortable. It's not good for Chan. It's okay for Pure Land, but not good for Chan. If you're a Chan temple, you definitely do not want a fancy temple. Okay? So, anyway. So that's why in Buddhism, it's not meant for us to impress. But in the future, when we start unfurling the Pure Land Dharma here in the U.S., we're going to have some very nice centers as well, because that's the nature of Pure Land. Pure Land have a lot of gold, so we may have gold, temple in gold or something, at least painted in gold color. Go on.
这个人拿着上那上供猪啊、鸡啊，什么都是拿去供养啊，给这个神供，就好像那红星庙神似的。
People brought stuff, offered pork, chicken, and everything for the god spirit. It was like the Gongting temple spirit.
看这个康僧会，你说怎么说？康僧会说
，he said this to Kang Seng Hui. What do you think? Kang Seng Hui said. He said.
这个雷霆破山，雷霆破山就是。
Thunderbolt destroyed the mountain. The deaf won't hear.
打雷把这个山打坏了，把这个山呢是。
Thunderbolt destroyed the mountain, meaning the thunder hit this mountain and destroyed it.
石头都打这一个雷，把这个石头都劈碎了。可是聋者不闻，聋的人听不见。
Hit this stone on the mountain. This thunder broke the stones, but the deaf won't hear. The deaf can't hear.
这个佛虽然灵他这种无知的，他不管他的，这种无知识的他不管。
Although the Buddha is efficacious, when facing such ignorant ones, he does not interfere. Such ignorant ones, he does not interfere.
See, that's very Chinese. And this is so strong statement. The thunder pulverizes the mountain, but the deaf doesn't know. Can't even hear it. Okay? Can't even hear the pulverization of the mountain and nor the thunder. So the power of the Buddha Dharma is that powerful, and yet the deaf, meaning that the people who are inadequate, they cannot see it. Okay, meaning that when the Buddha was in the world, his awesome virtue. One look at him, he inspires respect. Okay, people marvel when they marvel at him. When they look at him, they're in a trance, and he's that awesome in virtue. He has the marks of the great man, but that's the Buddha. But later, the monks like Master YongHua, his descendants, his direct descendants, he's not the Buddha, so he is totally unimpressive. Okay, that's more in line with the cultivation phase of his career, on his path. So that's why for when the Buddha's in the world, it's a lot easier to recognize the power of the Buddha Dharma. When he's not in the world, it's much more difficult to see it. And because these bodhisattvas, the last thing they want to do is to try to impress you. Okay? How can we try to impress you when the Dharma we teach you is to blend in? We tell you, blend in, don't stick out. Then we walk into the room and we stand out. We're supposed to teach by example. Okay? And that's the way it is. No one is trying to impress you. And the responses, the results, or the benefits you find for yourself. You pay attention, you see those benefits. You follow the instructions, you will get those benefits. You don't, it's your choice. Okay? Continue.
唐僧这个张毅也是有道理啊，说不过这个沙门。
Zhang Yu heard this, thought it was also reasonable. He couldn't win this Shramana.
没有法子，没有什么理论可以把这个沙门，可以把他说服了，把他说倒了。于是就回去对僧权说这个。
He didn't have any theory to convince him to defeat this Shramana. Then he went back and told Sun Hao.
僧会沙门呐，聪明智慧，非臣之智所可测，是吧？不是我的智慧所可知道他的。
This Shramana Sanghui is smart and wise, and he is immeasurable with my wisdom.
You see, when you hear this story, how do you feel? I have this problem where you have these people coming around and you debate them. You out-debate them. We better, right? We can debate better than them. Is it okay to out-debate them, to defend ourselves? What for? Look at the temple that they have. It's so unimpressive. Why bother defending it? What's the matter with these people, really? Seriously? Huh? Just move. Burn it down. What do we care? They did fine before. 70 people cultivating, 7 dozen people cultivating together without a temple. They were fine. What's the matter with these people? Now they have to defend the temple? Are you kidding me? They forgot their roots already? There's a reason why the Buddha, boys and girls, this is why the Buddha, first disciples cultivated under a tree. There's no temples. They became enlightened a lot quicker. So that's why the Chinese, they're so impressed with these stories. And something is off here. Why do you need to defend such an ugly temple? And then why are you gonna, out-debate this guy? He comes back and he loses his face with his boss. Could you defend a totally unimpressive temple to make that guy lose face and lose money and lose royal patronage? Probably is worth a lot more than the temple itself. I don't know. Well, I guess the Chinese are impressed with this, but I have a problem on these debate things. I know it's nonsense. Yeah? Orange. She has to wave her fingers.
Mô Phật và Thầy, người Trung Quốc á, Thầy nó cúng thần rất là nhiều. Cúng thần nhiều đi tới Việt Nam luôn. Là cha mẹ của con cũng là cúng thần không à. Thầy tới tới Quả Ngân đó, tới đời con này đó, thì con không cúng thần nữa. Rồi mình không cúng thần, mình phải làm những cái gì? Chứ làm mình làm con người rất là khổ rồi. Mấy ông thần ông còn khổ hơn mình nữa. Phải không? Ông phải phù hộ cho mình, rồi đó mình là khá giả, rồi mình mới kiếm một chút cúng cho ông ăn, ông mới có ăn. Thấy cái khổ rất là khổ. Rồi đó cha mẹ con là cúng thần không à. Nó nói trời ơi, mình đã khổ rồi, mình cúng nuôi mấy ông thần để giữ cho mình nữa, còn càng khổ thêm. Thì tới sau này ngồi lấy cái nhà của má ngọ đó, thì bà cúng ông thần này thần kia rất là nhiều. Thì con vô con ở, thì con nói như vậy nè: con giái các vị thần đó phải đi tu, đừng có tới đây để làm mấy vị thần rất là đau khổ. Thì con cúng một dĩa trái cây, rồi con nguyện như vậy cho mấy thằng đi tu, đừng có ở đây mà giữ của ở đây để phù hộ cho chúng sanh này. Thì chúng sanh khổ thì ông cũng rất là khổ. Ông phù hộ người ta thì ông mới có được ăn, thì người ta mới cúng cho ông. Thì tôi có cái lời nguyện con vậy đó. Mô Phật Thầy, không biết có đúng không?
It's kind of late to ask for advice now, isn't it? Go ahead, translate. She kicked him out, now she asks for advice.
Master, the Chinese people, they worship the spirit a lot, and then it spread to Vietnam. So in my family, my mom, she worship a lot of spirit. My generation, I don't worship the spirit anymore, because for me, to have this body is a lot of suffering, and then the spirit, they are even more suffering than us, because they have to take care of us. If we are doing well, then we make offering. If we don't do well, then we have nothing to offer to them. So that's why when I move into my mom's house, she has a lot of altar to worship the spirit. But then I move in, I just offer one plate of fruit, and then I talk to the spirit and say, okay, how about you go and go cultivate, go practice. Do not stay here anymore, because it's too much suffering. So I wonder, is that correct?
Okay. We should not criticize people who pray to the spirits because it works. You talk to the Asians, whether it's Japanese or Korean or Vietnamese or Chinese, when these people pray to the spirits, and many generations pray to the spirits because it works. It brings results. Okay? Bring good results for them. And so it's a good practice in general that they pass on to the next generation. For example, farmers, they spend basically the entire year, working the entire year, waiting for good results. If it doesn't happen, they're going to be in big trouble. So it makes sense to pray to the spirits. To me, that's reasonable. Okay, and quite often it works. That's what they pass it on to the next generation. This king of the Wu country, Wu, he believed in Kang Seng Hui, and so he built temples for him. Okay, but to me, it's funny that he never passed on that family trade secret, if you will. Each family has pass on their own wisdom to the next generation. In her family, the parents told them to pray to the spirits. That's wisdom from a family. Okay? But some reason the emperor who believed in Buddhism, who spent money building temples and supporting the Buddha Dharma, never educated his own son, his own successor. Okay, so it's a shame because so it's a failure. It's a failure from the parents' part, not to pass on the good knowledge. Okay, and what about the times when the praying didn't work? The years when the crops failed, there's a drought, there's some insects and so forth. So clearly, at those times, the praying to the spirits didn't work, right? What did the ancestor, what did your parents, your grandparents do then? Didn't know what to do. Right? They prayed every year. It worked until it stopped working and they didn't know. Okay? This is when there's an opportunity for Buddhism. We come in and we help. Okay? When the spirits cannot help. So it's perfectly okay. We're not in competition. At times when the spirits help, that's fine. But eventually the people who have the blessings will realize that praying the spirits is not as beneficial as praying to the bodhisattvas. By far, it's a lot more beneficial. Because if there's a drought and no rain comes, you pray the spirits, but the spirit cannot help, whereas bodhisattvas can. Reciting sutras can. You see? So it's okay. It's no competition. It's okay if the spirits are helping people and it's good for them. It's no problem. Okay? There's no need to starve them to death. I believe in live and let live. If people pray to the spirits that helps them, let them. Okay? We just don't. It's okay. And if our followers want to pray to the spirits, it's okay too. Nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that. Okay? If they come here and then they go to a church next, it's no problem. Okay? It's a church here as well. The churches have more of the things to offer that we don't. Let's face it, they have better music, right? They're much more entertaining. Even like, no, I'm not talking about the classical music, all those operas and the odes to God and Mother Mary and so forth. Because the great operas, fantastic. It makes your hair stand in the back of your head, hair in the back of your head stand up. When you hear these operas, oh Fortuna and stuff like that. But I'm also talking about nowadays there's a band playing in the churches as well. That's fun. What's wrong with that? It helps people go to a good place where they stop doing stupid things for change. They stop hurting each other for change. For 1 hour, half an hour, sitting there in this big auditorium listening to, what's his name again? Sunday night. Thank you. Hallelujah. Okay. And all these people listening with rapture, I think it's nice. What's wrong with that? They're doing nothing wrong to me. Okay? It's okay. It's okay if it works for them. It's no problems. Okay? Now she disagrees. This woman is very opinionated. She only brings, she brings things up.
Ngô Phật và thầy, tại vì mình
To make a point.
có vượt qua những cái câu chuyện này thì mình sẽ rồi mình vào vô đạo Phật đó thầy, mình mới thấy một cái là hai cái nó khác biệt nhau. Mình cúng những thằng nó rất là phiền não thầy. Mình cúng đạo Phật á, thầy rất là thanh tịnh, rất là thanh tịnh. Rồi mình cúng mấy vị thần đó rất là phiền não tới mình không biết gia đình, nhiều khi xào xáo rồi cái này cái kia đó, là mình cúng mấy vị thần mình lo lót không có đủ đó, thì có cái chuyện ra rồi đạo Phật không có đâu. Mình thấy hai cái nó phân biệt một cách rõ ràng luôn á. Rồi má con đó dọn nhà đi, mấy ông thần để cho tôi hết trơn đó. Ông má con còn nói mấy ông thần này đó tôi cúng mấy chục năm mà ha, đừng có ấy. Tôi nói là ok, bà đi đó thì bà đi nhà mới thì đừng có cúng thần nữa, cúng Phật được rồi mà cũng phải thờ thần nữa ha. Thờ thần, ông thần tài nè, ông thần gì cũng thờ nữa. Rồi tôi mấy ông thần này đó tôi dọn, tôi cúng rồi tôi kêu mấy ông đi tu đi, đừng có tới đây nữa, khổ lắm. Thì tôi cũng một cái lời nguyện mình nói như vậy đó. Thì ok, cũng đâu có thấy cái gì đâu. Mà giống mấy người cúng quen rồi đó, sợ làm mà không biết làm sao có tội hoặc là cái này cái kia. Thì cái thói quen của người ta cúng từ đó tới giờ như vậy rồi. Thì không biết bây giờ làm sao mà chia sẻ. Rồi mà giờ đi nhà mới đó thì không có dọn đi qua, để lại qua. Tôi nói để lại làm gì? Để lại cho tụi con cúng, con không có cúng đâu. Tôi mời mấy vị thần này đó đi tu hết, đừng có tới đây mà để cực khổ nữa. Để làm thần rất là khổ chứ, đi kiếm ăn. Nhiều khi không có phù hộ cho chúng sanh đó, thì chúng sanh kiếm không được ăn đó, thì mấy vị thần nó cũng đói thôi à. Mô Phật con hiểu biết như vậy đó.
So that's why that's fine. She says she really believes, doesn't believe in praying to the spirits and so forth. I said, if that works for you, no problem. But it's if others want to pray, it's okay too. It's okay. It's not a problem at all. Okay, because if you don't pray to those spirits, they're going to go hungry. It's not good for them either. Okay? So I'm of the attitude that if it works for them, fine. Okay? When they don't need us, it's okay. Go somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? You have to embrace them all. It's perfectly okay. It's same thing. Our temple is small. There's no way you can handle a lot of people. Okay? So they should go to other temples. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? They have better food. Do they? Excuse me. So you see, so it's okay. Don't you have to be more embracing, because it's not just us, it's also all the spirits and all the externalists and so forth. They also need support. We have enough, it's okay. Okay? We're not worried. And similarly with this guy here, in the same spirit, I have a problem with Kang Sung Hui, that he would debate with this guy. And to us, Chan purists, what's wrong with that? That's fighting, isn't it? He's fighting, verbally fighting with this guy, right? He's fighting. Knowing full well he's better. Why is he fighting? Why was he fighting? I don't get it. To make what point? That his Buddhism is better? No, my Buddhism is not better. Okay? We're not better than the spirits. If it works for them, good for them. We're not better than the spirits. We're only better when it doesn't work, that's all. There's plenty of work for those people whose spirits can't help them. We don't need to help everyone, you understand? We'll be overwhelmed. Yes.
Master, if the monk doesn't defend the temple and let them destroy the temple, wouldn't that allowing them to create more offenses?
Okay, good point. Which temple do you go to? I'm not. Oh, YouTube has an answer or a question?
It's a question.
It's just I need. Okay, go ahead.
So Brady asks, Master, when Great Master YongHua was in the Southwest, he prayed for rain with the Southwest indigenous people, didn't he?
What's the question again? The last one. He prayed and then what?
He prayed for rain
Yes.
with the Southwest indigenous people.
What's the question?
The question is whether or not he did.
I have no idea. I wasn't there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. He would pray to rain with them. Why? Why would you go? Let's say let's forget about Master YongHua. Let's say you invited to a tribe in the Southwest. Where is that? Arizona, New Mexico, and so forth. Albuquerque, in those places. And the indigenous people, or Australia, and the indigenous people have a praying session for the rain. Would you pray? Why not? Just pray. We can lend a hand as well, right? Okay, my question is, how do you pray? Pray to our gods. They pray to theirs, we pray to ours. What if it rains? Good for them. Maybe their God is more effective than our gods. What does it matter? Huh? If it rains, doesn't it benefit those people? Is that the purpose? Is that the purpose for praying? Is it for us or for the people? So whatever it takes to help those people, do it. Yes, Orange.
Mô Phật và Thầy, một cái cầu đó nó có lợi hại lắm. Bởi vì đạo Phật mình không có cho cầu. Mình muốn làm gì mình phải thành tâm mà mình tu rồi mình làm. Rồi mình cầu mà những không có rồi đó thì người ta cũng là sĩ bán những thần, những Phật, những Chúa. Họ không có thích cái câu đó. Giống chiếc này người ta có khi người ta cầu cầu cho tôi được cái gì, cầu không có, rồi cái bắt đầu là người ta mắng Phật, chửi Phật rồi. Nói Phật không linh, không phải là ấy. Cái đó là cái thế gian mình, ở ta bà này nó tạo những cái nghiệp như vậy đó. Bởi vì Phật đó, nó không có cho cầu, Bồ Tát cũng vậy nữa. Bây giờ mình muốn cái gì mình phải thành tâm mình làm, chứ không phải là cầu hoài. Cúng một nải chuối cầu biết bao nhiêu nữa, cầu không có rồi cái thầy người ta bắt đầu là người ta sĩ bán Phật rồi, mua Phật đó. Không biết có đúng hay sai, thầy khai thị dùm những cái lời Quả Ngân đã nói.
Praying is not beneficial at all. That's why in Buddhism we are not advocate praying, ask for things. So because if you pray and then it happen, people will be happy. But then if it's not, then people will slander the spirit and God and say like it's not effective at all. So I think for people, whatever they want, they should be sincerely practice and work toward it. Because like people just offering a little bit of banana and then they ask for so many things. And so so for me, people should be sincerely work for it rather than just pray and ask for things.
Okay, she has knowledge, so she knows what she's doing. But I ask you to think about the people who don't know what they're doing. To them, praying helps. Number one, it calms them down. Okay, I didn't know anything when I was desperate. I prayed too. It didn't work, but I prayed. It helped calm me down. Okay. Number two, is a learning experience as well. If it works, then we learn something from it. In my part, I prayed to win the super lotto. You don't know how many times. And it never worked. So I finally learned a lesson. I said, okay, I stopped praying for super lotto. I'm going to pray for the rain instead. Okay, so it's a part of a learning experience. Okay, it's okay to pray. Don't be so one-sided that I know for me that's all. But I'm saying that I'm advocating the fact that it's okay at times to pray. It's perfectly okay. Okay, and if it works, fine. It doesn't work or doesn't work, we learn from it. It's okay. Okay, we don't have to be so judgmental. Say, I don't pray. You're not desperate yet. When your son is so sick, something tells me that you pray and ask for help. Okay, so that's just human nature. Yes, White.
A Di Đà Phật. Con có nghe câu chuyện của cái băng hòa thượng kể cái đời hòa thượng ở bên Trung Quốc á, hòa thượng có cầu mưa là đi tới cái làng đó người ta hạn hán, người ta mấy tháng trời mùa màng chết hết. Thì hòa thượng dẫn theo một cái chú sa di mà người này có ngũ nhãn lục thông. Thì hai thầy trò vô cái chòi đó ở thì có 4-5 người đàn ông tới. Họ xin làm đệ tử hòa thượng quy y. Cô dịch đi.
It's getting better. I stop, you translate.
I heard the story about
Excellent.
Master YongHua. When he was in China, he did pray for rain because this village, there was a drought for several months and a lot of people died from it. So Master YongHua came and he brought a shami with him. This shami has spiritual power.
Xin quy y thì cái cậu này mới nói với hòa thượng là thầy ơi thầy, mấy cái ông này là rồng không đó chứ không phải người mình đâu thầy.
Men came, 4 or 5 men came and asked to take refuge with Master YongHua, and the Shami said that, Master, they are not regular human, they are dragon.
Vì đó Hòa Thượng mới hỏi mấy ông là rồng, trách nhiệm mấy ông ở đâu mà để cái làng này người ta muốn chết hết rồi, mấy ông quy y với tôi làm cái gì, cái từ bi mấy ông ở đâu vậy?
And Master YongHua questioning these people like, you guys are dragon, what are you doing? Why you cause such a thing and a lot of people die? Where is your compassion?
Là thầy không có biết. Chúng nhiều chừng nào mưa ở đâu là do Thượng Đế ra lệnh, chứ chúng tôi không có tự ý làm được. Thành ra cái làng này do cái nghiệp quả của họ, chúng tôi không có mưa là cho chưa có lệnh của Thượng Đế, chúng tôi không có dám làm.
So they answer, Master, probably you don't know the amount of rain, where we will have rain. It's not us, but it was decided by the Jade Emperor. So this village, they got a drought because of their karmic retribution, and the Jade Emperor hasn't given us order to make rain yet.
Đó rồi Hòa Thượng mới nói thôi bây giờ mấy ông về đi lên xin đi, nói với này có ông Hòa Thượng, có ông thầy, ông xin mưa đó cho cái làng này, giúp giùm đi. Nếu ngày mai mà mưa thì ngày mốt trở lại đây tôi quy y, cho còn không đi chỗ khác luôn đi, đừng có trở lại tôi nữa. Thì ngày mai là mưa rất lớn, là chính Hòa Thượng kể năm cùng băng con có nghe như vậy đó.
So Master YongHua told them, okay, how about you go back and ask your boss, say that there's a monk, he really wished to have rain for this village, and if you can make rain, then I will accept you and let you take refuge with me. If not, then don't come back. And then the next day, there was a heavy rain happen. So that's what I heard from Master YongHua tape.
Very good. I heard a similar story. I heard that story too. The comment about that is the Jade Emperor, or the Catholic God, is in charge. He commands the dragons who are responsible for the rain and the snow and so forth, the precipitations. Those are the works of the dragons, according to Buddhism. Okay? And so these dragons have to report to the Christian God, that the Jade Emperor, the Taoists call him Jade Emperor, the Catholic call him God, and so forth. So that's why anything that happens in terms of precipitation has a schedule already, has a program, like our calendar. This gonna rain this for so long, for so much per year, and so forth, at a particular area, and it's because it's the common retribution. You have a drought because that area deserves to have a drought. Okay, or like we have a cold front right now in half of the United States, upper half. It's because it's part of our karmic retribution. Okay, so we shouldn't go around and say, hey, I can help you with this and help you with that. You're disrupting, first of all, the work of God. Do you want to do that? I don't. I want to get on the good side of God. I don't want to be on the bad side of it. You know? So why do you keep on going around and keep on say, oh, I can make it rain, and then what's going to happen next is that they invite you to go and pray for rain all the time. Okay, what for? People, I'm sorry, but people have to suffer before they wake up. That's why they have to come to our world, the Sahara world, because there's a lot of suffering here. They will keep on suffering and suffering and suffering until one day they wake up and say, this suffering is nonsense. Something has got to change. How do I change? That's the purpose of suffering. If you're not suffering, be happy. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? There's no need to change. You have the blessings, you have the good retribution, you deserve it. Who are we to tell you that you don't deserve it, you're supposed to suffer? Are you kidding? Then it's contrary to the law of cause and effect. They are having good things happen to them because of the good seeds they planted. It's going to come to that. He's going to mention that a little bit later. So if you tell me that I'm supposed to go out and help people with the rain or the drought and so forth, then I'm going to ask you back in return, what about those happy people, those rich people? Shouldn't we have calamities and accidents and alcoholism and drugs and painkillers and adultery and all those things, divorces and all those things? Bad things happen to them so that they wake up. Why do you keep on saying we need to help the people who are suffering, not the one who are not suffering? I think the ones who are not suffering are in worse shape. Sometimes. Okay? So you have to stop meddling. But at times when the conditions call for it, yes, we can help a little bit. Okay? But we're not supposed to change the seasons, for example. Okay? When it rains, it's supposed to rain, let it rain. When it's supposed to have a drought, let it have a drought until people wake up and try to do something about it. There's a purpose for everything. Okay? If we're supposed to have an earthquake here in Los Angeles and there's no earthquake, all that happened is that the earthquake moves to somewhere else because it's programmed to be an earthquake somewhere, that time of the year. Okay? So we are so one-sided that we forget about the big picture. The big picture is live and let live. Okay? Until conditions change, we have to bear the consequences. Okay? So the question was raised earlier that wasn't answered yet. What if the guy, you refuse to debate this guy and this guy destroys the temple? I hope not, if you lose. Okay? I hope they don't destroy the temple. I'm not talking about results. I'm talking about intention. If you debate with him, what is the purpose? If you meddle and you pray for rain, what is your purpose? That's what matters to me, not the results. Whether it rains or not, beyond my control. It's up to God. Let's face it. He's in control. So Master YongHua in the story, he basically says, hey, dragon, you go back and tell the Jade Emperor, I would like to have rain tomorrow. You hear? And the Jade Emperor heard of him, so he said, yes, you rain tomorrow, you hear? Okay? So that's what happened. Okay? The Jade Emperor has to respect Master YongHua because he goes and attends his lectures. Okay? Listen to his Dharma talks. So what's the intention? If you debate with him, what is your intention? If your intention, ma'am, is protect your temple, to me, it's still not enough. Because my point is that who needs the temple? What's the big deal? It's a shabby temple. Who cares? Please, take my temple. You understand? If you're worried about losing a temple, he'll destroy the temple. To me, it's still not good is not good enough of a reason to debate. That's my problem. So maybe if you were there and you feel, no, my beloved master gave me this temple, my beloved emperor gave me this temple, I can't let anything bad happen to it. That's reasonable to me. But not to say that I'm going to lose the temple. This is still not enough. You need to give me more reason for me to do that. Okay? But let me put it this way for you. I would debate. Not to protect the temple. Because if I don't have enough blessings to lift this temple, my protection is not going to work. You see, you forget about, you still in the mind is do winning and losing again. I lose the temple, I win the temple. My mind is not on winning and losing. You understand? Your thinking is still worldly. What if I lose the temple? What if I destroy my temple? No, it's not about destruction of the temple. Okay? It's about why am I debating? If I have a reason enough good reason enough to debate, I will debate. But until I have a good reason, I will not debate. For example, if I debate this guy, it's not to prove that I'm right at all. That wouldn't be my objective. Because exactly what happened to this guy. He debated, this debater, specialist debater, came and debated Kang Sen Hui, and he lost. He came back and told the emperor, I was not good enough. That's not a good reason for me to debate this guy. That's what I have a problem with. You see that? Because he won. It sucks.
Clearly saying it's about winning and losing. From reading the story, I don't see that in the story. That's why I'm asking.
Because if this
I don't see the intention is about winning or losing.
If this guy wins the debate, then the emperor has a reason, the king has a reason to say, Buddhism is no good. I can destroy the temple because they're not useful to me.
Right, but I see that destroying a temple is a bad thing.
A bad thing?
Yeah. Like they're creating offenses.
So? Since when people don't create offenses? Tell me, do you create offenses? Hey, she says yes.
But the people don't burn temple on daily basis.
I'm sorry?
People create offenses, but they don't burn temples on daily basis.
If they want to burn temples, go ahead and burn temples. Further on the story you hear, the guy, the emperor would take a Buddha statue and defecate on it and piss on him and so forth. And things will happen to him. Let him. What are you afraid of? My point here, I'm suggesting a better motive for the debate. It's not for protecting the temples, but to teach that guy and teach the emperor. That's our jobs, not to protect. Because his dad, the dead king, never taught him. So there's a chance now to find a way to educate this king here. And an opportunity to educate this debater here. That would be worth debating. But not to protect the temple. To me, it's such a low thing to do. I'm not worried about, if I lose, they break the temple, and if I lose, they're going to destroy the temples, they're going to create offenses. It's their business. I'm not powerful enough. I don't have enough wisdom to worry about that. Maybe it's a good thing. Should go to the hells for eternity until they wake up. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I can't see that far. But I need a more convincing argument for me to engage in those things. Okay? Kang Sung-hui is not clear about his purpose. He got, and this is why this story here gives us the impression he's doing it to protect the temple and to prove Buddhism is better. To me, it's not good reasons enough to engage in debates. Because when we debate, we usually win. That's why we don't debate, because we don't want to win. Because someone else has to lose. At least that's what my master taught me. Are we done today? No, I guess not. Question. Green.
Master, I can think of a potentially applicable real-world situation.
Yes.
I think about when the city council hearings were happening for Gold Forest Temple, and there was the zoning request, and there were all the people complaining, "Oh no, Gold Forest, shouldn't happen because there's going to be too much parking, and there's people sitting on roofs, and there's all sorts of strange things going on, and we don't need one more temple in the neighborhood." And it puts us in a position to have to debate with them that a temple should be in the neighborhood to kind of defend the temple.
Yes.
It just occurs to me that's kind of like a more, to me, real-world example of what might be being described in this story.
That's a good example. That's actually happened. That we had to go to a public hearing, and a lot of people complain and criticize us and so forth, and so we had to communicate to them, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what we were doing, so we were learning the process. So it's a good learning experience. Okay, but the objective is that we have a plan. The plan was to bring Mahayana as requested to Northern California. Okay, so people made the efforts, okay, and requested us to come. So part of that process, when we agreed to, is to have to get a permit. So that's part of the plan. So then we have to go do those things. Okay? But it's not about winning or losing. We didn't go there with the, I let the pressure, all of you bear the pressure, but I didn't go there and say that I've got to win, otherwise, if not, or else, okay? We try our best. That's all. That's all we could do, yes. If it works, it works. It doesn't work, we try again, and again, and again.
And I feel like the spirit of that situation was exactly how you're describing it. It was almost like we're not here to debate with ignorant people, with all due respect to the people who are bringing complaints. We're just here to be. And trying to avoid a debate at all costs seemed to me to be the most proper way to approach it, because we're not trying to have anyone lose in that situation.
We took it. You took it well. You did well in the sense, in the spirit that they raised those objections because there's some misunderstandings that accumulate over time. Okay, so there's a chance for us to go and clear the air, and so that's our attitude instead of winning. He says that there's some misunderstandings, there's some criticism that were not justified. So we try to clarify those things. Okay, and the attitude is that if you really understand, have the proper information, then that's our job. And in the same token, it's the officials whose job is to decide what's good for the community. It's their decisions as well. Okay, so that's our job, is to assist and abide by the laws and the regulations of the city. Yes, Green.
And Master, if I may, as an English major who specialized in language, writing, and rhetoric, the third word, rhetoric, effectively meaning argumentation, the rhetorical appeal of definition is probably the safest territory to avoid a debate. Because if you're just clarifying, you're not really arguing, you're just trying to align. So to me, that's the safest place to not debate and ignore it if you need to.
It's true. It's more than that. There's a group of people there whose job is to harass us, to get us so afflicted that if their purpose is to afflict us and get us so flustered that we will reveal ourselves. Okay, that's why typically we found out later they had to hire professional people who actually help out, assist in these types of permit applications. It costs money because they're used to dealing with this game here. They do, okay, but we didn't. We didn't know about that, so we learned from that. And next time I probably would hire such a firm because I saw the kind of stress my people went through. And it's funny because all these people are so stressed out, and then that's when people stepped up. So I liked it. I like the fact that people stepped up. We didn't ask for help, and so many locals stepped up. Okay, and when people stepped up, we need to decide on strategy. And strategy is just he just said, we don't fight. We have to be true to our platform, our motto. We don't fight. Okay, we clarify. Okay, and we hope that once we clarify, these ridiculous objections will fall by the wayside naturally without us having to fight. And it's out of respect for these officials and all the neighbors and all the people involved as well, because we feel that they didn't have the proper information, that's all. We've been doing this for a long, long time. It's not like we are new to this at all. So we have a track record of contributing to the communities. So that's why there's no need to fight. Okay? We're no good at fighting anyway. We don't fight. We kill. Like the virus. Who cares about fighting the virus? We kill the virus. Okay? You don't believe it? Just come around and we'll kill you. Yes, Jewel Mountain.
And Jewel Mountain asks, when Master talks to a person to make a point with purpose of teaching him, it's different, right?
I'm not sure that I want to teach everyone. For example, if that guy comes around, even that the professional debater from the king, who came around to out debate me, my first reaction would be not to debate, okay? Because I don't know him enough to be able to justify spending time with him. Don't overreact. The king sends a debater, meaning that he still has more moves, so we patiently wait what else he's going to do. He's not going to burn down the temple just because we will not debate with his debater. Are you kidding me? You jump the gun immediately. You say, hey, if I don't debate, they're going to burn down the temple. Heck no, he's testing you. Just like Raoul tested us. And he decided, you're not the same like the rest of them. So I like you. Counsel me. It's a test. You deserve my support, my help. Don't jump the gun, just wait. It's okay. Because Green, because if we lost that round, then the next round is we hire a firm. Because then when we were going through that process, someone suggested that there's firm professionals, okay, that we could hire to do those things. But I said, no, it's too late. Kind of too late in the game for that. But that's the next round. Okay, we don't give up. It's not easy. You apply again. Patience. Don't jump too fast. Just wait. Don't believe it, they say, I'm going to burn down your temple. Really? With what? Well, how do you plan to do that? Can we talk about it first? This is cement, so it's kind of hard to burn down. How do you plan to burn it down? Anyway, are we okay? It's a test of your how much you really believe in a non-fighting thing. You think when you come to that, you're going to lose your temple, you're going to fight. I say, no, I'm not going to fight. If I lose the temple, I lose the temple. You go to hell, it's your problem, not mine. I'm sorry, it's your life. Why do I have to help you? Excuse me. Give me a reason why I need to help you. You think we have time to go and help just everyone, anyone? We have commitments to so many people already. We can't help everyone. We're limited. Okay? All right. Continue.
这个，请陛下天聪啊，察之。请你啊，这个天的聪明啊。
Your Highness, please observe with your heavenly cleverness. Please, with your heavenly cleverness.
这个臣呢叫皇帝叫天呢，天的聪明啊，来观察观察他。
The officials address the emperor as the heaven, to use the heavenly cleverness to observe him.
那么康生会这个孙权这个儿子叫孙豪啊，就好那就。
Because Kang Seng Hui, this, Sun Quan's son was named Sun Hao. He said, okay.
赤狐就驾上一个很漂亮的四个马的马车，去把这个康僧会就请来了，请来到这儿就坐下了。
Thus, Sun Hao rode a very beautiful four-horses carriage to invite Kang Seng Hui over, invited him over, then sat down.
坐下，就问这康僧会，说是佛教有什么灵验？
After he was seated, the emperor then asked Kang Seng Hui, what is efficacious about Buddhism?
善恶报应，善恶因果报应，这是怎么一回事啊？
What is good and evil retribution? Good and evil cause and effect retribution.
你给我讲一讲。这鬼神，这怎么样讲呢？
Please lecture me. How about ghosts and spirits?
康僧会说，这个易经说，积善于庆。
Kang Seng Hui said, this Yi Jing said, accumulate goodness, there will be excessive good fortune.
积善之家必有余庆，积不善之家必有余殃。这是
The family that accumulates goodness must have excessive good fortune. The family that accumulates evil must have excessive misfortune.
This is very important. This is where Kang Seng Hui is clever. The message is very clever. The family that accumulates goodness will have excessive good fortune. Instead of directly answering the king, he says, as a small scale, the family, meaning a member in the family that accumulates goodness, then the family will have good things, excessively good things happen to them. Okay? Is that true, isn't it? Because typically, in our cases, it's the women who come to the temples. The men are too busy. Okay? In general. And one member of the family there goes to the temple and creates blessings, and the whole family benefits. Okay, so same thing. The king, the king does good things, then his family benefits, meaning the country will benefit.
《儒教所讲的善恶，这个恶要小啊，恶在隐性，就是没有看不见的这个地方。
This is good and evil taught by Confucianism. If this evil is small, the evil is hidden, is not, is at invisible places.
鬼得而诛之，这个恶要是有形的，就人得而诛之，就人可。
The ghosts have the right to kill him. If this evil has form, people has the right to kill him.
可以把他杀了，他要作恶，人能看得见，人可以杀他；人看不见呢，这鬼可以杀了他。
This means that people can kill him. When one does evil, and people can see, people can kill him. When people cannot see, ghosts can kill him.
说这是善恶。那么说。
He said, this is about good and evil. Then he put it this way.
做善呢降祥，就有祥瑞；那么做恶呢，一定也就有灾殃。这是。
Doing good brings in auspiciousness. There comes auspicious signs. Then doing evil brings disasters.
善恶因果报应，这个孙浩说，这是孔子已经说过孔。
This good and evil causes and effects retribution. Sun Hao said, Confucius had already talked about this.
孔子和周公已经这么样讲过了，何必又等着佛来讲呢？
Confucius and Duke of Zhou already said so. Why bother waiting for the Buddha to talk about it again?
康曾会说啊，这个儒教虽然说呀，他是所说的是禁忌，是很显明的禁忌。
Kang Senghui said, although Confucianism said so, but what was said is taboo, very obvious taboo.
Where is Jin Ji? What's Ji? I know what Jin is. What is Ji?
Is worrisome of saying something that would offend somebody or like against the culture?
So taboo.
Yeah.
Ji. Again, Ji meaning a Ji is what?
忌讳.
Something to be scared of. YouTube answer.
Jane says it means forbidden.
Forbidden. Okay.
Jing is forbidden. That's what Jane said. Ji is taboo is what Jane's saying.
Okay, Jin is to stop, to forbid. Yes, to prohibit. And Ji is it combined or they're two separate characters? Means taboo. I see. Okay, so what Confucius taught was about he taught about taboos, things that are forbidden, things that are unacceptable. Okay. Forbidden. Okay, fine. Continue. Thank you.
佛教所说的这个善恶因果报应，这是幽深，这个很幽微呀，深远，这个道理说的。
The good and evil causes and effects retribution that Buddhism talked about is profound and subtle. It has profound and subtle principle.
所以呢，以这种的 教化来教化人呢，令人呢诸恶不作，众善奉行，这岂不是很好的一件事吗？
Therefore, we use such teachings to teach and transform people, make people refrain from all evils and do all good. Isn't that great?
Okay, Q. Go for it.
Sorry. Oh, can you hear me? Sorry, I think the taboo word is confusing. I'm wondering if it should be, although Confucianism said so, but Confucianism taught about what we should abstain from. Is that the meaning?
Abstinence,
Confucianism taught us what we should not do or what we should abstain from.
abstain from doing. I don't know Confucianism, but his Master J is a Eastern philosophy, was an Eastern philosophy of all places, UC Irvine. Sorry, I had to throw it in. So he probably knows more about Confucianism than we do. Okay, it's Confucius taught to a low level of a general population, where it's simplified, like teaching elementary school. You say, you yes sir, and you stay in attention and those things, those simple concepts, things that children can understand. Okay, so for that purpose, then it's easier to teach them, don't do that. Okay, refrain from doing that, abstain from doing that. I think it makes sense. So you don't need to understand too much. You just say, you don't do that. So it's easier. So it's not, you don't require a lot of understanding, a lot of knowledge. Okay. Whereas according to Kang Seng Hui here, Buddhism is more profound. It requires more understanding. For the people, it's meant for the people who have a high level understanding. Okay. And not only that, it also, this understanding actually can transform them, can change them. Yes, Blue?
It also has a meaning of, for example, in superstitions where you just know certain things you don't do. That's why we call it a 禁忌. Like, you don't understand in a sense where it's like not able to be understood. Like a superstition. That's why it translates to taboos.
Just don't go there.
Yeah, just don't go there.
Don't go there.
And then there's no reasons, and every time you go there,
Right.
bad things happen, misfortune happens.
Yeah,
that's why it's
no
called,
need for reasons.
Right.
Just stay in the lane. Don't encroach. Okay, don't stay away from, abstain from that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, stay away. That kind of thing. There's no need to understand. You just need to know that. Stay away. Don't take drugs. Should be afraid of. Yes. Yes, agree.
No problem. So I'll put my Westerner ignorant hat on, not knowing what the Chinese is, and just put one vote in for abstain, because to a Westerner, taboo can have enticement to some people, whereas abstain...
This guy's wicked.
Oh, okay, +2 from a Westerner perspective. Thank you, Vicky. Yeah, it's an important distinction.
I buy that. I'm from a Western education. Thank you. I didn't dare say that.
But I would also like to add that from a longtime baseball player perspective, there's a lot of value in the superstition aspect too, because baseball players are very superstitious and will do things because they don't want to cause bad luck.
Right. Same thing. The family worships the gods. Okay, it becomes superstition instead of something that's beneficial. Okay,
Yeah.
you just believe blindly.
Like for instance, when you walk on or off the baseball field, you never touch the white line for out of bounds with your cleats, and it's a superstition. I mean, the reason is because somebody's dad or mom put the white lines down, and if you scuff it up, then you can't get a good call from the umpire, so it's impolite. But so it's considered bad luck to touch the white line. So don't do that. Abstain from it. But it's not considered taboo.
I see.
Taboo is a different, more desire realm word than simply just don't do that. Just abstain from that.
Yeah. But then, on the other hand, speaking of sports, as long as we're there, I've seen like football players winning a game. I say, "Thank you, Lord, for for helping me," and it turns out that the losing team players also pray to God as well. How does God decide? They all prayed. Huh? What's the rationale for that? What's the wisdom behind that? We all prayed. Yes, Orange.
This is actually my own opinion, so just take it with a grain of salt.
So he doesn't speak for God, in other words. Yes.
I would never do that.
Yes, go.
I'm very smart to do that, or try to. My own opinion is that people were so stupid that we just pray for stupid things. And in my own opinion is that just because we're human, we just pray for stupid things that really doesn't matter, in my own opinion.
Oh, you're so evil. How can you say praying to God doesn't matter? I'm offended by that.
No. Praying for like, oh, let me win this game. Or maybe...
No. Have you been on a football field? They really sat down, knelt down. Oh, Lord, your obedient servant here would like to win today's game. Please help us out, And they're very sincere.
God does hear their prayers because of their own stupidity, but that's my opinion too.
It's not just God, my friend. I heard a soccer team, we call it soccer here, in England for all places. The last place soccer team in England, soccer is a big business in England, okay? Huge business like football here. The last place soccer team in England is so bad that they sold it off to a foreign investor from Thailand. Okay? So they bought the Thai businessman, bought the team, and what did he do next? He flew the entire team to Thailand. And he met with these Thai monks. And Goyin will guarantee this for you. And the Thai monks gave him things to do, like praying or whatever, tricks they do. And they came back and they won like crazy. I loved it. Yes, Green.
Oh, but Master, there's a distinction between the wisdom there and the superstition, because the new Thai owner knew that to take them to the Thai monks was to use prayer to get their heads clear so they could focus on winning. But when you pray to win the game, everybody knows that's superstition. You need to, at best, pray to get a goal or pray to play well together. Praying to win doesn't work. Okay. Everybody knows that.
Okay. Well, I will not comment on what the Thai monk did. Okay, none of my business. But Wu Yin has a trying to. It's her friend, by the way, her teacher.
Mô Phật và thầy, giống hai đội vậy đó, rồi hai đội nó cầu Chúa, một cái đội nào có phước báo thì người đó đúng rồi, cái đội nào mà không có phước báo thì cầu nó không có, thì nó kết quả thì như vậy thôi.
Yeah, she says she made a point that the winning team is the one who has the blessings to win. It's not necessarily God or the Thai monk even. Yes, hang on. Let's give Cube a chance.
Oh, yes. I was going to say that I think taboo could be made to work, although I think the abstain makes a little more sense to me. But we could also say Confucianism taught us about taboos. But the way it's phrased, it says Confucianism said so, and what was said is taboo. It just sounds like Confucianism is a taboo. It's different from taught us about taboos.
Yeah. Okay, but again, I heard Green's point earlier. Taboos can be very attractive. I don't think Confucius meant that. But nowadays, for Ikea people like us, taboos could be fun. Sorry. Yes, Orange.
But I also want to say that it's a soccer player plays to win the game, and he's won. It could come from God. We don't know, because God can have a good sense of humor that we don't have. So there's there.
All the monks have tricks that can help you win. I assure you of that. Okay? It's not a coincidence. It's not luck. He has tricks. I know some of them, by the way. Anything else? Yes, Green.
And I should say I have direct experience with God helping win at a sporting event. When we went to the state championship or the state semifinals for golf, our coach gave us all a set of golf balls that had been blessed by the Pope, and we never had golf balls blessed by the Pope before, and we all had the best games of our entire lives. And then from that tournament went on to the state championship. So I can't say it doesn't work.
It's probably bought on eBay. He didn't tell you bought it on eBay, $1 a piece. That's what coaches do. Don't you know it by now? I mean, coaches are known to con their players. Yeah. Especially kids. Anything else? Okay, very good. So, Kangsan Hui says it's supposed to help you. I think Master Shua puts it in Chinese, but it says help you teach, develop your understanding, and that with that understanding, they'll change for the better. Okay, because they understand, not just simply that don't go there. Okay. That's the difference. So that's his point. It's good that you discuss it because I didn't know anything about Confucianism. For us, we take it granted, that our purpose is to explain things to you and hope that you make the right choices. Continue.
当时孙好也因为很聪明的， 他本来想用个方法来把这康僧会给说倒了，说折服了，取消这个佛教，不要了。
At that time, because YongHua was also very smart, initially he wanted to use some method to out-debate Kang Senghui to convince him.
但是他也没有折服这康僧会，于是乎他也就不管了，他也就没有取消佛教，但是
To eliminate Buddhism, but he couldn't convince Kang Senghui, thus he didn't bother anymore. He also didn't eliminate Buddhism.
他也不相信佛教，他认为他自己聪明，好像孙豪这样人世间不知多少。
Because he still didn't believe in Buddhism, and he considered himself to be smart. In this world, many people are like YongHua.
那个不相信佛教的都有这种情形以后他就叫他这个首尾的尾兵他这个兵到他的后花园呢做工清。
Those who don't believe in Buddhism are all like that. Later, he called his guards, his soldiers, to walk in his backyard.
清理后花园这个地方，后边这个garden花园。清理这个花园的时候，就得到一个金人。
It was to clean up the backside garden. There was a garden at the back. When cleaning this garden, they found a gold statue of a man.
用金子做的人，大约有5、6尺高，这么大一个人，当然就是佛像喽。但是他们当时他不认为是佛像，就说
A statue made of gold, about 5 or 6 feet tall. Of course, it was a Buddha statue, but at that time, he didn't think it was a Buddha statue.
是人像，就说是人像啊，是用金子造的。
He just said it was a statue of a man, claiming it was a statue of a person, which was made of gold.
这个孙子豪就把这个金人放在什么地方呢？放到厕所里头，就用那个屎啊、尿啊来浇这个金人的头，来浇这个金人的头啊。
Then, where did YongHua put this gold man? He put it inside the toilet and poured excrement and urine on this gold man's head, poured on this gold man's head.
就叫文武百官大家都在一起用这个。
He gathered hundreds of civil and military officials together.
屎尿一浇这个金人的头的时候，他和这个文武百官都哈哈大笑哈哈。
When pouring the excrement and urine on the gold man's head, he and the hundreds of civil and military officials also all busted into laughter.
大笑，这是你看这个有什么灵感呢？意思就是这样的，就这么做这么个乐，以为快乐。
He laughed out loud and said, "Look, what efficacy is this? This action was meant to be fun." He thought this was fun.
这 正在这个时候，你说怎么样？这个孙豪的麻烦就来了，浑身都肿了，就肿起来，啊。
Just then, what do you think? Sun Hao's trouble came. His whole body swelled up.
尤其这个小便就是难堪呢，痛的不得了啊，就叫进躺到地下打滚的叫，
especially this pea, the penis, was in terrible pain. He was screaming and screaming, lied down on the floor, rolling and screaming in pain.
I assure you it's not funny. You go through it, it's not funny.
我就请那个御史啊来给占算，这个史官就是算卦的人，算这是怎么回事啊？
Then he invited the imperial censor to read his fortune. The censor was a fortune teller. What happened?
一占算说这个有犯大神了，有犯大神，这个他因为他不知道是佛，就是大神。
This official said that he offended the Great Spirit, because he didn't know this Buddha was the Great Spirit.
就这么样子，这个孙豪就各处庙里去叫人呢，他自己不能动弹了。
Then just like this, for a long time, he asked others to go to temples everywhere. He himself couldn't move.
叫人去烧香拜佛，不是拜佛，拜神去。
He asked others to offer incense and bow to the Buddha. Oh, not bow to the Buddha, but to the spirits.
那得罪大神了，他那时候还是不信佛，有个。
Because he offended the Great Spirit, at that time, he still didn't believe in the Buddha.
那个小庙去拜这个神，拜也不好。
There was a small temple where he sent people to bow to the spirit. They bowed, but he didn't recover.
一点也这个痛苦也不减少。 不减少，以后他有个才女就是他的宫里头的这宫女呀。
Not even a little bit did his pain reduce. It didn't reduce. Later, he had a maid in his court.
这宫女以前呢是个信佛的，就到他的面前给这个孙豪打个问信。 打个问询就问他，说是
This maid believed in Buddhism before. She went in front of him, courteous to Sun Hao. He made a courtesy and asked him,
陛下，你有没有到佛寺里去求忏悔去啊？ 这个孙豪就在枕头上把头抬起来问他，说：“这个
Your Highness, did you go to the Buddhist temples to plead for repentance? Sun Hao raised his head by the pillow and asked her,
佛大过神吗？佛大过神吗？” 然后这个才女就说佛就是大神。
Is this Buddha greater than the spirit? Is Buddha greater than spirit? The maid said, The Buddha is the great spirit.
佛是最大的神。这孙豪一听，哦，佛是最大的神呢。
The Buddha is the greatest spirit. When Sun Hao heard that, oh, the Buddha is the greatest spirit.
他那个史官占算说有犯大神，得罪这个大神了，他以为就是普通这个神。现在这
His censor practiced divination and said he offended great spirit, offended this great spirit. He thought it was a regular spirit.
才女一说佛就是大神，哎，他就醒悟了。他哦，原来是这么回事。于是乎，
Once this maid talked about this great spirit like this, he awakened. Oh, that's what happened.
就叫人呢，把这个阴人呢，从这个厕所里又抬出来，又把他用这个香水来洗，叫这个才女洗。
Then he asked his servants to carry this gold statue out of the toilet, used perfume to bathe it, and asked this maid to bathe it.
洗了多少遍，那么又给上香啊，来求忏悔啊。
We don't know how many times she washed. And also offered incense to plead for repentance.
那么这个孙子豪就在这个枕头上啊，对着这个金像啊，去叩头啊，诉说他的罪状啊，就。
Then, on this pillow, Sun Hao faced this gold statue, bowed, and listed his offenses.
说他怎么样不对了，自己这么认错求忏悔。
He said how he was wrong. He himself admitted his mistakes and pleaded for repentance. That's the end of the audio.
Okay, and that's the end of today as well. Comments, questions. Clearly, this king here is pretty naughty. He put the gold statue in his toilet. Must have eaten a lot of bad stuff, so that he can have a lot of stuff to pour on the gold statue. And then he called his officials and to witness that that pouring of urine and excrement on the gold statue. And his excuse is that it's just it's a human form. Yeah. Okay, he says that's have fun and pour this thing here on this statue of a man. But in his mind, he says, I'm pouring excrement and urine on top of the Buddha statue. You don't have to say it, Christian. You can do the exact same thing. You could tell your friends and your family, something, but in your mind, that's what matters. Okay? So, lies cannot protect you. You get what you deserve. So there's no need to worry about it. Okay? So that's what happened to this king. This king here lied and said, let's have some fun, and he meant that that's denigrate this Buddha thing here. Okay? And he even pretended to not understand that there was a great spirit he was referring to the Buddha. Okay? He's not dumb, but he pretended. Let's try all the other spirits first. This king here is something else. Okay? I'm going to prove to them that my spirits are better than this great spirit. And finally, the royal maiden, not maid. I don't think they have maids. Maids cannot attend the courts. So one of the girls there suggested is the Buddha, he should do repentances. Okay, and it's not clear what happened to the officials, the 100 officials who were having fun. My bet is that if any of them was laughing at the fact they're doing it to the Buddha statue, it's not going to be good for them either. Questions, comments? Okay, so the king messed with the wrong guy. Okay, thank you everyone.